Want to hear a joke? What do you call an expert archer who isn't interested in romance or sex? An AroAce, AroAce. Regardless of how or whether you label yourself, sexuality has an impact on everyone's lives. It could be about who you would like to date, or whether you think they should have the right to vote, or it could just be about your individual struggle to find your sexuality. However, this is not something that's normally taught in schools, and as a result, sometimes people are unaware of lesser-known orientations such as asexuality and aromanticism. Sexuality can be thought of as a spectrum, with people who are completely heterosexual at one end and people who are completely homosexual at the other end. This method, known as the Kinsey scale, was developed by Alfred Kinsey and his colleagues in 1948. Some versions of the test also include an additional sexuality that is not located on the spectrum, asexuality, which is represented with an X. Asexuality is defined as a lack of sexual attraction, which isn't a great definition because it can be difficult for people who might be asexual to grasp. Maybe they're not sure if they've ever felt it because they don't know what it is, or they can't tell if a feeling is sexual attraction, or maybe they just genuinely have no idea what it is or what it's supposed to feel like. Unfortunately, there's no test to tell you if you're asexual, and there aren't really any defining characteristics besides the aforementioned lack of sexual attraction. However, many asexuals, or aces, will skip past sex scenes in books or movies because it bores them or they don't understand it. They might feel uncomfortable or repulsed in sexual situations, or they might just look at the word asexual and realize that it describes them. Some people might feel like they are heterosexual by default, or bisexual because they are equally disinterested in both binary genders. In addition, there are other sexualities along the asexuality spectrum, such as gray sexuality, which means you might experience sexual attraction only a couple times in your life, or demisexuality, which means that you might form sexual attraction towards someone only after an intense emotional bond is formed. In the end, sexuality is decided by an individual and no one else. People who are asexual can still feel romantic attraction and be in romantic relationships. These people are known as romantic asexuals, and they are very oriented, which means that their romantic and sexual orientations do not share a prefix, such as a biromantic asexual, who would be romantically attracted to both binary genders, but sexually attracted to none. There are also aromantic asexuals who do not feel sexual attraction towards anyone. Aromanticism can be even more difficult than asexuality to explain, partially because of the myth that if you don't feel romantic attraction, then you are incapable of feelings or other types of love, such as platonic love. People who are aromantic, known as eros, may feel uncomfortable in romantic relationships, or they may have no interest in romantic relationships whatsoever. They might not understand romantic attraction, or they might feel no difference between platonic love and romantic love. Again, it's a matter of whether an individual feels like this label fits. It is very sex and romance oriented, so some asexuals and aromantics feel out of place, to the point that some people have felt broken before discovering that these orientations exist. If you have a friend who comes out as asexual or aromantic, it's important that they feel like their sexuality is valid. Yeah, sexuality is fluid, and 10 years from now they might discover that that label no longer fits. However, hearing that they haven't met the right person yet, or that they're too young, or insinuating that their sexuality has something to do with low self-esteem, is detrimental to someone who's probably put in a lot of research and self-evaluation. Sexuality and aromanticism are just two more orientations in a huge list, and they can provide a huge sense of relief to someone who's felt wrong for their whole life. If you think you may be asexual or aromantic, there are many online resources, including AVEN, the Asexuality Visibility and Education Network, and many forums. I wish you the best of luck. This has been AroAce Talk with Ren Graves.